Good afternoon. This is Yazid Muhammad, and I'm coming to you from Born Again Africa. And I appreciate you all watching our videos and pressing like and also subscribing to our channel. Is really the support we need in order to continue on and to be able to give you good information. So if any of the information that I share with you and it's informative or you get something out of it, please subscribe, maybe like it or make a comment. We really appreciate it. Thank you. My experience with a ICT, that is information communications technology or information technology business. As I stated before, back in 2010, or we began to open a computer training school. My mother and I, we brought over some refurbished computers from her job, about 15 computers between the two of us, and we established a computer training school at Fihankra Vocational School. We were the first to open up that type of business at Fihankra. I think maybe we were one of the first to open up a business at Fihankra, period. So that was the second business that we did there, and because of its isolation from the main town, a lot of people began to ask us to move our business closer to the town, and that's where we then moved it into the town. So at that time, internet cafes were kind of the new craze, but it was not very common to find, especially in this rural area where we are. And there was one internet cafe, two internet cafes in Akosombo, and then there's was one working internet cafe in Atampoku, but it wasn't functioning very well. So when we came in and we set up the idea was to set up the computer training school. But when I partnered with, we partnered with Kojo Apia, another brother who was an ICT specialist. He suggested what he wanted to bring to the table was an internet cafe, and that was how we kind of entered into that, and then it just grew into the business center, video game room, and all these other aspects to the business. But the ICT, what I thought was the upside is so huge because there's such a gap in where people are and where they would like to be. As far as ICT, at that time, I would say in 2010 or 2011, it wasn't always common to find cash registers or CCTV cameras or internet cafes and those sorts of things. So those are great businesses to work around, as well as the different software and hardware, different things. So what I found, I wasn't an ICT specialist. So what I had to do was learn as I was going. And I knew I had some layman experience with computers, but I didn't really know how to break the computer down, go inside of it, put it back together. A lot of it I learned from Kojo. And thank you, Kojo. And I was able to teach in the school, but I couldn't only teach introductory level. So through that, I began to become more ICT savvy, or ICT savvy, and I wanted to expand on that. So some of the challenges I met was there's no Best Buy, there's no Walmart, there's no place like that to necessarily go to. So you have different vendors of these computer parts and software, and most of all of them are in Accra. So there's a great opportunity to set up a business like that outside of Accra, so that people don't have to travel so far into Accra to get those products and services. So what I found was you would go there, and then you have to leave. Here I am, go an hour and a half when there's a problem on the computer. I have to then go and source it out, because it's not a situation where you want to be sending people with money to go and buy things for you, because maybe the thing will come back and it won't be the correct part, or all those kind of issues come inside. So what I found was my biggest challenge with the ICT business was sourcing out the parts. Uh, uh, that was a huge issue, because now before I don't know Accra very well, and at that time I didn't know Accra very well, and people would be directing you, go here, PC Direct, PC Direct is one of the vendors in Accra. I think it's a Lebanese owned business, and then there's another one, and go from this side, and they're not close to each other, and one is on the other side, and the prices are very exorbitant. What you have to then find is people that are shipping in computer parts, which, by the way, are at that time there was no duty on them. So when so you look for those type of uh, other type of vendors, and there was one on Spintex Road where they were selling, the whole warehouse full of PCs, system units, and you begin to see that this is a huge business for importers and not necessarily exporters, but importers of secondhand materials. So that allow a lot of people access to some of those computers and system units that they are constantly being worked on, refurbished. New software is put on. None of these things are considered dated, I would say, because they can always be upgraded and updated to work now. So that was one of the biggest challenges I faced. My partner Kojo, he had his primary job working as an engineer for Nestle, and I was managing the day-to-day business at the Atampoko Media Center. That is the business that is the ICT training school that we were managing, and so when issues would come up, unless he was to come and then facilitate it, which kind of affected how the business was running. But I think if I was more ICT savvy, maybe that would have helped it. And I gained some knowledge, but I still didn't go as far as I needed to go. And some of that prevented me from going far was also knowing how to go and buy in the market. And know the difference between a Chinese imitation or the authentic thing, or an Indian imitation, or any imitation, and you wind up buying the wrong thing. You waste your whole time and money and the whole day going to chase this one particular item down, and and then maybe you would like to ship it from overseas to Ghana. That's just another time factor. How you will get the thing I need it now. So now before you have to call somebody, they have to not call somebody, but you will go and buy it, maybe buy it through Amazon, and they will ship it to my sister. Then she would have to get her time together and then ship it to me, and it just became a cumbersome thing. Or you have to look for somebody to bring you items, and that it's a burden. It's a burden on people to do that, and even to ask somebody to do that. So what I found with a lot of the businesses that we've done here is that you really need to be in control of it. Of what I need to be able to do the business that I'm doing, and if I'm not there, maybe the business will close. Or once I've trained particular people that I feel I can trust, and then to manage it, and then also have CCTV cameras to back it up to make sure that no foolishness is going on in my business. Those are some of the things that I've learned, especially dealing with the ICT.